the biggest gift we can give to ourselves is self-honesty. So my encouragement to everybody is we all hold the pen. Like, we can all write our chapters of our story. We truly do. If we allow our brain dictate us, we will have a very mediocre life. If we choose to hold that pen and write our story and write how we want to show up, and we are a person that takes a good idea and does something with it, we mightn't be the best person.
Is that something you wore with like a badge of honor? Because you've accomplished some incredible things. Back to the Let's Vent podcast. Today, I managed to pull aside Laura Kelly. She is the co-owner, co-founder of Clover Growth Partners, along with her husband, Josh. Managed to steal her away for a quick minute while we were at Epic 2025. It was a great conversation where we were able to dive into some of the things that she is super, super excited about and passionate about right now. But if you don't know Clover, essentially Josh Kelly helped grow his family business from 65 million or 6.5 million, sorry, not 65, 6.5 million to over $200 million in annual revenue in Phoenix, Arizona. And him and Laura ended up starting their company, Clover, to be able to help other contractors across the US and Canada be able to do the same. It's a tremendous organization. They're helping so many people, even with their free webinars. So I highly recommend you check those out, but enjoy this conversation with Laura. You have done some monumental things recently and made some massive shifts in your life. And it's funny because as a business, that's what you help contractors do on a daily basis. What was the pivotal moment for you? Why was now an important time for you to dive in and start making some big shifts?
So when you say big shifts, like stuff you've just
hired
observed?
The coach.
Okay,
You're
gotcha.
going on 75 Hard.
Gotcha.
You went to Date with Destiny.
Yeah. I think there's no greater pain than knowing you're capable of more and you're not stepping into it.
Right.
And I was over it. And
Right.
I really believe when a person truly changes is when they've been satiated enough by their current reality.
Right.
And they therefore seek more. Right. And that was me.
Right.
I knew I had more. 2024 was fine, but it was just like, I just knew I had more and I wasn't stepping into it.
Right.
And I was kind of over that. I was over that for myself. I was kind of over modeling that. And I knew that if I didn't start putting systems and things in place that would almost give me that kick in the ass to facilitate change, I wouldn't change.
Right.
So I put people around me that would facilitate me changing. And then the coach is like a systematic way of making sure I continue to evolve and change.
Right.
Because, you go to a seminar, you get juiced up, and then you could fall back into old ways.
Right.
So she is wonderful at like appropriately kicking me up the ass weekly.
Right.
And there's nothing more, I think the most real form of self-confidence is when you say you're going to do a thing and you do it. And when you pay a person to show up for you and you tell her you're going to do a thing, it's like there's this you just have this desire to truly follow through. Like even during the 75 Hard, people are like, have a drink. Who's gonna know? And I'm like, I'm gonna fucking know. Right. And when you lie to yourself, I think it's just a sad reality. Like sometimes when speaking about change, when you have to change isn't always nice. The realization of what you perhaps the realization of what's perhaps not ideal about yourself, it's not nice to admit it, but the truth really will set you free. Right. It's the truth mightn't be like, the truth isn't, it might not be awful, but it might not also be great. It just is what it is, and admitting reality, only from that place can you truly evolve and change. And I think the biggest gift we can give to ourselves is self-honesty. Like, I don't want anyone to look at something worse than it is. It's also not as ideal to look at something better than it is. If you can look at something objectively, from there's power. Right.
No, massive power. And I know for myself, I had a really hard time because I grew up in sales, direct sales specifically. Goal setting was always a big thing. and what is it? January 19th is the average as to when most people give up on their New Year's resolutions.
It's called Quitter's Day now.
Yeah,
They've
right?
like named it. Yeah.
And you get in this habit of just being okay with not hitting benchmarks, right? And we're at an event right now where a lot of contractors have paid a lot of money to get here. Like the cost of the event is one thing, but then you've got the extra party, you've got the VIP packages, you've got the hotel, you've got the flights, and people keep coming back, and yet they don't end up getting to another level. They kept staying at the same place for the vast majority of the people in these rooms. What is it that makes the difference in contractors who actually take what it is that they learn at these events and then shift? Yeah.
Yeah, a huge. It all comes down to, I believe, like the identity you have, the story the story you're telling yourself about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you continually tell yourself the story of this is good knowledge, but I'm just not the best implementer, you're gonna follow through on that story.
Right.
Which, yes, perhaps you need help implementing. So then bring a person alongside you that facilitates you maneuvering through this difficulty of getting shit done.
Right.
Unless you shift your identity around like being an executor, you will continue to live out that truth.
Just a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It's totally.
Yeah.
And sometimes people aren't even aware of their self-talk. So like if you find yourself saying to yourself like, business is hard, that's a story that you're associating, that you're choosing to welcome into your reality, and it's that same story is going to slow you down and cause you so much hurt. So my encouragement to everybody is we all hold the pen. Like we can all write our chapters of our story. We truly do. If we allow our brain dictate us, we will have a very mediocre life. If we choose to hold that pen and write our story and write how we want to show up, and we are a person that takes a good idea and does something with it, we mightn't be the best person to implement that idea, but we could be a very compelling person about bringing compelling people alongside us to help us roll stuff out. And that is that I wouldn't say I'm the best systematic individual in the world, but I do know I'm very good at taking care of people and bringing them into our world and supporting their strengths to roll a thing out.
Right.
So, like if you're accepting a mediocre way of operating, like business is hard, I jump all over the place, I don't get stuff done, like F that. If you continue to accept that story for yourself, you are going to ongoingly struggle. Like I actually spoke with my mom only a few days ago about, she's like, she said to me, because I posted this post about my background, and she said, like, Laura, we all thought you could do great things. And I'm like, no, people saw me as the girl that struggled. I do believe that. I do think that was true. And my biggest shift was when I got satiated of buying into that story. I chose to buy into the girl who struggled. And the longer I chose to buy into the girl who struggled, the more I was going to struggle. Right. So the more you choose to buy into business is difficult, or losing weight is difficult, or achieving goals is difficult, you're going to continue to buy into that story. So I would encourage you to hold that pen and write down, what is this next chapter of your story going to look like? How can you evolve and change and be the person that you're truly proud of? Not the person that people told you are, or the person that people told you you're not. Nobody should have that power over you.
Right.
You have the power to write your own story. Write that bloody story, and then ongoingly affirm to yourself who you are, what you're about, and what you're going to continue to do and prove. Not just for yourself, but to model that to those that you love. I think if you could, something that makes me proud is that I do believe my kids watch me model kindness, empathy, like self-talk. Like I caught my daughter recently saying to herself, she was trying to get into a bouncy castle and she couldn't do it. And I walked around the corner and I heard her say, I can do this. And then she got into the bouncy castle.
That's dope.
And yeah, it was like so freaking heartwarming. And you know, she said to last, like 2 nights ago before I left, she's like, I'm living my best life. And she just says this shit to herself. And I'm just like, this is what her self-talk is awesome.
Right.
And I'm just very curious to watch how her reality changes. And life does just come that little bit easier to her because her self-talk is just wildly conducive.
Right.
It's that voice inside of yourself is really, really powerful. I've heard somebody described it to me once as like literally just think of like a Lego man or like a little cheerleader that you just place in your head, and they're just speaking truth into you ongoingly. And over time, you cloud out that judgmental voice or that self-destructive voice or those labels that were once put upon you that are no longer serving you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I had Tim O'Reilly on the show yesterday, and he's the CEO of Gill Group. And it's funny, the same conversation around self-talk and like how important that is to have your kids believing a different reality maybe than we had. I'm curious with the belief that you had around struggle. Is that something you wore with like a badge of honor? Because you've accomplished some incredible things. So was it, yes, I struggle and I'm the girl who struggles, but I'm also the girl who overcomes struggle. So you sought out opportunities to see struggle?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. So we all have 6 human needs. We have the need for certainty, uncertainty, significance, contribution, growth, love, and connection.
Yeah.
And I think it actually gave me some significance.
Mm-hmm.
And we all have these 6 human needs. We all need these 6 human needs to be met, but the order in which you prioritize them leads to a joy-filled life and fulfilling life, or a life with higher suffering. If certainty, if significance and certainty are at the top of your need list in that order, like life is just full of uncertainty, and you need to be comfortable with that, or you'll be ongoingly miserable. You perhaps won't leave your house. The need for significance is if you always need to be significant, why you chase a thing is perhaps not for the right reasons.
Right.
So I would ask anyone listening to consider the order in which those needs are. Once I shifted my order from either, it varies, goes from love, growth, and contribution, or contribution, love, growth. It's shifted at different chapters of my life. That's the healthiest order to structure your needs. And once I started to say that's a crappy way to get significance, number one, and had that awareness, I then could consciously choose otherwise.
Right.
So yeah, like I see people, I've seen this with people I love. They retire and work was where they got significance, and now they're sick, and they get significance from being sick.
Right.
So just be very mindful of how you're getting your needs met. Significance is, we all need it, but it's not a healthy one to have at top. So yeah, I would say it probably brought me some significance. And you know what it also brought me was love. And the more anything meets all of your needs, the more addicting it is. So you want to find vehicles that facilitate, like healthy vehicles that hit all your needs.
Right.
Versus destructive ones. Like, yes, I struggled. I was the girl that then got love because, oh my gosh, Laura's struggling.
Right.
And it definitely facilitated some of that. And it also facilitated some connection.
Right.
So it was meeting a whole host of my needs. So of course I held on to it.
Marketing isn't magic, it's math. At Free Agency, we've got the formula tattooed on our brains. We are not a digital marketing agency. We don't just throw things at the wall hoping they stick and call it strategy. We're a fractional CMO. The people who come in, grab the wheel, and drive your growth like it owes us money. Our system isn't guesswork. It's battle tested at the highest level. Last year, our clients averaged 45% growth. We've taken companies from 8 figures to 9 in just 12 months. And here's the kicker. We don't do it by blowing your budget. We do it by spending smarter and focusing on 4 core moves. 1, branding, to drive your brand in your market. 2, paid leads. We bring in high intent leads into the business. customers who are ready to buy, conversion, focusing on turning those leads into clients, and lastly, nurturing to increase the lifetime value of every single client. Every step is intentional. Every dollar is tracked. And if you're spending $1 million a year in marketing without a 10x return, yeah, you're flushing money down the drain. We work with ambitious, no BS contractors who don't just want to try marketing. They want to win. So if you're ready for 50 to 100% growth in the next 12 months, let's talk. At Free Agency, we don't just play the game. We rewrite the rules so that you win every time.
So if y'all want to do a deep dive on that, what Laura's talking about right here, this is from Tony Robbins, which you went to his events. I've been to his events as well. And there's tons of YouTube videos on it. I'll see if I can find one that has the actual 6 needs and how he describes it too. Because it's really, really powerful. And the example that you gave, like, this is why violence will always exist. And this is something Tony talks about, right? Because in a moment where you hold a gun to someone's head, how significant are you? Scale of 1 to 10.
Sure, wildly significant.
Right? And how certain am I in that situation that I'm in control? Right? And there's a little bit of uncertainty and some variety in there too, because, what's going to happen? Are they going to fight back? Are they not?
100%.
Am I going to pull the trigger? Am I not?
100%.
And so it does become addictive. And that's why violence will always exist. Everyone has the needs, different ways of meeting them. And I think this is where a lot of relationships become toxic at home as well. Because when we're not getting our needs met at home, that's where we can turn to things like business, which consumes so much of our life, so much of our time. We want to pour into our people. We want them to succeed and achieve and grow. But when all of our attention goes there, our families are the ones that suffer.
Sure, and it is, if you find yourself pulled into business a lot, it is probably because all your needs are not being met at home, perhaps.
Right.
And that's not your wife's responsibility or kid's responsibility. It's your own responsibility. What can I do to have my needs met? And then there could be an opportunity to have a conversation with, like, for how Josh and I get our needs met is different. And knowing what could get one of those needs met and communicating it gives those you love the opportunity to deliver upon it.
Right.
You will become hooked to things that meet your human needs, for sure.
It seems like the whole kind of premise or thesis around what it is that you're talking about right now is, in regards to running a business. You're a contractor. You have these goals that you want to meet. People focus so much on what it is that they have to do. And it seems like more of what you're trying to coach people on right now is who are you becoming? Because that influences what it is that you do so much more.
For sure, yeah. I see this all the time. Success is 80% psychology, 20% mechanics.
Right.
What I mean by that is, if you think of yourself as a crappy business operator or owner, and I give you all the tools and tactics and skills to succeed, you'll sabotage. You won't. You would be hard pressed to find a business owner that is doing very well and hasn't got a conducive psychology around winning, around having a successful business, around whatever that demeanor is. Doesn't mean that their marriage is perhaps good, but around that vehicle or that avenue of life, they have their psychology is conducive. Their psychology is strong. So, like, it's the same thing when you're training, like, your technician. Like, I tell this story. I told the story only recently. Just under 3 months ago, I was training selling tech, who had I was rolling out what's called a debrief call after every call to basically make sure that they're doing the things that is going to facilitate their highest average ticket, and also that they're doing okay before they go to their next call. And as I called this tech, he was like super demoralized. He'd flunked that call. It was a perfect opportunity and he didn't get it. And he was like depressing me to speak to. He was so banging down on himself. And I'm like, bud, tell me some of the stuff you're saying to yourself right now. And it was all awful. Like, I'm just not good at sales. I'm just never going to be good at sales. Like, I'm just not like John. And he was doing everything unhealthy from a self-talk perspective.
Right.
And he didn't do any of the things that would have facilitated him having a more successful call. And I said to him, if a person speaks to them like themselves like that, how do you think they're going to perform? Yeah, probably not good. I said, well, and he had another call that was going to be a layup. It would have been wild had he for sure should close it. But with how he was operating, how he was thinking, there was no way he would have. He was really just kind of down and depressed. So I said, well, what would a person who is going to go in and make this sale have to say to themselves? What would they have to say? What would they say to themselves? And he was like, I am a badass. I deliver the best service ever. This lady is just so delighted to have me in her home. I don't think he used the word delighted, but his words. And he was just saying, he's like, I'm a mother badass, and he was saying all this stuff to himself.
Curse here, it's okay.
And I said, and his energy was just like, wow, what a difference. And I said, okay, pull down. I want you to hang up the phone, pull down your rearview mirror, look yourself in the eye, speak that to yourself, and call me back. He was like on fire when he called me back. He went in and he sold the call. So he had all the tools prior, but his psychology was so like, I'm just not good at sales. Like, and then that his energy was so uncompelling that the customer feels that.
Yeah.
And as a result doesn't purchase. So we as owners, we as leaders, like I said this only I think it was a year or two ago. In my house, if I'm not doing that good, everyone in the house is only okay. And I said to John, I was like, I hate that I have so much power.
Right.
and I realized that our biggest job is to have freaking banger energy when we run meetings, because our energy is super contagious to those below us, and we have to model that we can't accept mediocrity from an energy perspective, because it truly is contagious. The customer feels it, but we as leaders, our team feels it, and then we send them out in the field with not so great energy. So you almost, I heard the gentleman from Any Hour say this. We can't have a bad day. Like, do what you got to do to get yourself into a winning place and show up. Like, the 80-20 for us as leaders is to have banger energy when running meetings. And everything else will take care of itself. We're 63%, according to science, 63% smarter when we're in a positive state of mind than we're in a negative state of mind. Therefore, we're more innovative, more creative, more inspirational, more influential. And we all know things that if we do it prior to X, we show up better. So do the thing that makes you show up better. I sat in on a meeting the other day and the energy was terrible. And I said to this lady afterwards, I was like, you should never critique in front of our team, do it privately. And we did it privately. And I was like, your 80-20 is to just get yourself into a banger space, because you are capable, but you're 63% smarter and therefore more capable when you're in banger energy. That's your number one job. And the rest will take care of itself when you get onto that call.
Yep.
Facilitate, do what you got to do to get it, to put yourself in a healthy space. And it looks different for different people. We have a pool in the backyard, and I grew up in Ireland. Pools weren't a thing. So when I get into this pool, I'm like, here's what I say to myself. I'm like, who the fuck am I to be in my backyard in a pool? I am so lucky. And I just get loaded up with gratitude, and I'm like ready to rock and roll. And whatever the heck that is for you, do that thing. Because you can't influence from a place of like, who the heck wants to follow someone that's just like indifferent?
Yep.
It's
one of my favorite quotes from Tony is, turn your expectations into appreciation, your whole life will change. Yeah. But also, your worst day is someone else's biggest dream.
For sure.
Right? And to peel, it's massive to realize like we're such an insignificant cog in this wheel. If we're here or we're not, it makes an impact to a small circle of people, but the greater impact on the world is very, very small. And to realize that like the problems that we're going through right now, if we're gonna laugh about it in 3 years or 5 years, fuck it, let's laugh now. Right? Like if we can't control it, we can't change it. And, I've got another mentor, Hal Elrod. He had this motto of can't change it. So why am I going to stress about it, right? And he had a little wristband that said can't change it. He wrote The Miracle Morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, great book.
Yeah.
and he got hit head on by a drunk driver at 19 years old, was pronounced dead at the scene, was airlifted to a hospital, was resurrected in not resurrected, but revived. There we go. Another R word. He's not Jesus. Sorry, Hal.
You know Jesus?
But yeah, he was revived in the helicopter on the way to the hospital and was told he would never walk again, was the happiest guy in the hospital because he realized he couldn't change his circumstance. And if he was going to be confined to a wheelchair for the rest of his life, so be it. I'm just going to be the happiest guy in a wheelchair, was his motto. And the doctors had to send his dad in to go check on him because they thought he was in denial of the whole experience. But he let go of any expectation around that. He said, I'm going to walk again. I have this mentality. I'm going to make it happen. And if not, I can't change it. Fuck it. I'm going to be the happiest guy I can be. That perspective, it's special. Not everyone can have it. Not everyone has it. Everyone can have it.
Everyone can have it. It's definitely a muscle when you're not used to it.
Totally.
But like if you catch yourself walking down the hall, or like me yesterday, I was carrying these 75-pound bags and I was bitching about it.
Yeah.
Didn't want to do it. And I saw my mindset become a little bit negative, and I was just like, I caught myself.
Yeah.
And it's those moments, it's what growth is not never doing it.
Yeah.
Growth is catching yourself sooner and adjusting faster.
Right.
So I caught myself, and I say things to myself like, you're a motherfucking badass. Crazy stuff. I'm only saying it to myself, but how it changes your energy and your self-belief about yourself is wild. But it's a muscle. And yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable. Yes, it's going to feel weird. Yes, it perhaps feels untrue. But the more you say something to yourself, it does start to feel more part of you.
Yes.
And your identity and self-perception shifts over time.
Yes.
There's something you reminded me of. Josh says, and I think it's kind of liberating. He said, we're not surgeons. Like, no one dies if we don't get back to that email in 10 minutes.
Right.
We're not surgeons. And sometimes taking that breath of fresh air and doing what you need to do to pour into yourself so you can pour into others. You know, we can all, I say the best influence you can have upon the world is fill your cup up so much that it's overflowing, because only from that overflow can you truly contribute.
Absolutely.
You can't contribute from a
deficit.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like you can walk, if you choose to change, walk through that door of change.
Right.
Don't try to take everyone with you.
Yeah.
You can, once you've evolved, then you can come back and get them, perhaps.
Right. Well, speaking of Josh, I know he just called. He's alone at the booth right now, and people are starting to come out and go tour the booth. So I want to make sure you can get back there. Thank you so much for joining me. This is great. I feel like we could probably talk for at least 3 or 4 more hours, but I know this is important for you and Clover. Any quick shout outs with Clover that you want to give before you go?
Yeah, if you want to take the guessing out of growing your business, we say if you want to stop guessing and start growing, we take all the solutions that are working in the home service business today that took the family company from 6.5 million to 110 million and help you roll them out in your business with a lot of accountability, very numbers driven, and I would love to help facilitate you becoming even more successful in your journey. So if you want to stop guessing, start growing, just check us out at growwithclover.com. And thank you for spending these few minutes with us, and cheers.
Yeah, thank you so much. Definitely go check it out. Phenomenal resources. You've got a bunch of free resources as well on the site and things like that you've given out in the past. So we'll make sure that we link everything down below. Go check it out, growwithclover.com. And we'll talk to you later. Thanks so much, Laura.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Definitely want to hear what you thought of this episode. Leave a comment down below, let us know. And if you really want to show some support back to us, we could really appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button as well. And if you did want to get notified when we come out with a new episode, hit the bell icon over there. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week.